So just in case you guys thought that we're gonna be sitting around here feeling sorry for ourselves, you are wrong. You guys recognize us? We're in our new studio space. Here, I gotta give you a little tour quick. It's pretty ghetto in here, but look, it's quiet. And our house is over there. Rainier was yelling for us, but I don't think he can find us over here.
We're such great parents.
We have been getting a ton of comments and questions about this whole Bible camp fiasco. So we wanted to spend some time to go a little bit more in depth just because it sparked so much conversation in the comment sections. To summarize, it was a little bit over a week ago that our family got a notice via phone call from a Bible camp that we were planning on cooking at this summer, that we were not allowed to cook specifically or be on like any staff-based position, even though it was volunteer, because we don't believe that being transgender or gay is a sin. We no longer believe that and have confidence in that belief. For the last week, it kind of like threw all of our family's plans up in the air, practically speaking, and was really hard for our family to figure out what to do with our summer. So the last couple videos, we've been announcing that the kids, it turns out, did have an opportunity to go, both from the camp and because my parents are willing to take them. And as of now, they have made that choice to go.
The 3 oldest kids. Green Flight asks, so confused. Not allowed to cook also means not allowed to go because of your beliefs on gay and trans. We think the camp would have let us come as campers. We don't know this 100%, but the camp was totally full and this camp fills up pretty quickly. So that was not even an option for us this year. But in the future, I don't know if we'll decide to come as a camper or if they'll even allow us to.
It's tough because of the way the communication was handled. I don't really trust that things are being presented super upfront. So if we're gonna sacrifice our whole family to drive across the country, it'd be really hard to do that with the way it's being handled.
Yeah. Because we didn't really talk to a person that's actually makes the call. We talked to someone underneath them.
Anna Little said, you all should just go somewhere fun for the family and make new memories with your babies, a new family tradition. Oh, and also make some bomb waffles for your family. And this comment had 76 likes. And there was a lot of people kind of saying that, like, oh, just go somewhere else. Oh, just go do something else. And here's the thing, like, our family, we're not looking for just something to do. There was no like shortage of busyness or activities in our life. We're not bored. This was something that we made a specific big sacrifice for and were willing to do. And when it fell through, all of our plans for traveling that were kind of hinged around it kind of fell apart also. I was like on the fence of it, if it was even worth to drive across the country for this. So I appreciate the sentiment, but it was really a pretty unique event and circumstance that our family is willing to sacrifice a lot for.
Deb Yates says, I'm curious to understand the reasoning that the kids are paying $200 a piece for gas when the grandparents are planning to drive there anyway. The grandparents, they decided to take the 3 kids, and this actually changes their whole trip pretty dramatically. I mean, they were gonna take their own vehicle. Now they are taking our big ass van.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways of looking at it. And I think from one perspective, it's pretty generous for my parents to take the kids and change their trip and drive the van and take on the complication of having 3 additional teenagers when you weren't planning that. In terms of the finances, that was between my kids and my parents that decided that. The reason why we didn't pay for it is, generally speaking, our mode of operating with our kids is to give our kids jobs and to give them allowance. And then anything that's optional, we let them decide if it's worth it for them, then they can decide to save up and pay for it. and then they get to own that decision. Then there was a series of comments that were all kind of the same vein. JK says, Ben and Cammie, they have no gray area. You shouldn't either, in my opinion. You should cut off all ties.
Buddy says, they should not be exposed to such narrow-mindedness.
Todd says, I don't understand why the older kids are going to the camp. An attack on any family member is an attack on all family members. I believe they will regret going when they think about it in the future. Also, it bothers me that the kids are paying for gas. So this is a response that someone else made named Nicholas. Camp leadership is who excluded you. The campers didn't. The kids should not feel guilty for wanting to see friends and family that they love. That is a part of their community. As I've mentioned, my wife and I left our church, yet my daughter still goes to youth group there. I would not ask her to leave. These kids and the youth pastor did not reject us. It was the church leadership that forced us out. I suspect your situation is similar. It is the handful of leadership that asked you not to come. So I don't think letting your kids go should be a big problem. And that really resonates with me.
Yeah, that like sums up so much of what I feel and why I'm totally okay with them going. When you're dealing with a hierarchical system like this, at least that's how I see it. I see it as there's a few dudes up top that are making all the calls, and this is the call that they made. But that doesn't mean all the people under them are a reflection of that call. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't.
And I don't feel really attacked. You know, we came out pretty dramatic with this video because it was very dramatic in our life. The impact of it was upon our life and our practical situation. But that doesn't mean that someone's goal out there is to try and take us down. And the way that we're teaching our kids about this is there's a system of thought that excludes people, and that a lot of times we never hear about the story of those people. And at this time, in this case, we're those people, but a lot of times we're not those people. And it's not really personal. There's not people that are coming after us, but there's people that are insecure in their own thoughts that we being around that will threaten that. So it's a little bit tricky because there's not just one or two evil people or bad guys out there that we can point at and say, those are the bad guys.
This comment is from Mary Lou. If I had parents who were like Cammie and Ben, who took their kids on overseas trips and experiences ordinary kids can only dream of, I would never have even considered going. I would look back years later and hold my head up high and say, yes, I was loyal and ready to forgo enjoyment because I feel the pain my parents feel. I'd stop talking about being disappointed and begin planning on a project promoting tolerance and love for everyone. I'm a parent and admire how Cammie and Ben allowed their older children to make their own decisions, but I know for sure if that was me, it'll be a double stab in my heart. The parents love their children so much they are willing to get hurt at a deeper level, very selfless, a true sign of ethical leadership to aspire to. First off, I think this is a really high bar to be holding kids to, teenagers to. I feel like this is something that maybe someone starts to believe in their 20s, 30s. Something that I try to do with my kids is I try to understand as much as I can where they're at in life. And they're not gonna be where I'm at in life. I've had experiences that they have not had. And they're at a certain developmental stage that's way before mine. But the other thing too is I don't feel like my kids owe me loyalty or really owe me much of anything. I definitely have hopes. I even would say I have expectations, but I don't think my expectations are something that they definitely owe me. As soon as I put it in that category, I know I'm gonna have a lot of issues with my kids because I know they're not gonna fulfill all my expectations. So I hope I can see, like, even if I did feel a slight bit, betrayed is a really strong word, but I felt a little bit like, oh, you're going without me? But I didn't put that on them. Like, I saw that as my own emotions coming up.
Our insecurity and our loneliness.
I think it actually does them a real disservice when I put that emotion on them. So I tried to hold it close and say, this is my feelings, this is still valid, but this is mine to own. I don't want to put that over on them.
Yeah, I actually kind of disagree with you a little bit. Like, I think kids can start taking up sides at a very early age. I mean, you take the Hatfields and McCoys, and they're like taught like, they're the enemy, we hate that family, and they're like, oh, we hate that family.
Yeah.
So kids, I think, can understand that concept. I just don't agree with that concept in this case. I don't think the enemy is another person. I don't think it's a place. You know, I don't think it's a zero-sum game where if we send our kids there, we lose. There was this thing I saw on Instagram today from this Instagram account called Everyone Belongs, shout out. And it says this: don't commit to me, commit to evolving. I'll meet you there. Ah, okay, you guys got it. But the idea very simply is, instead of trying to pressure our kids and teach them that, oh, in order for us to be close, you have to stick to our beliefs, saying, hey, we want to promote your growth, whatever that means. Mm-hmm. And if we're growing and they're growing, I think that's the best chance we stand at having a long-term relationship. The relationships that have been the hardest for us to foster, that we've grown away from people, are people that I think were actually unwilling to grow or have an open mind about certain areas. The final thing I want to say is, Mary Lou says, I'd stop talking about being disappointed and begin planning on a project promoting tolerance and love for everyone. And it's so weird, but I actually like totally agree. I just think that this is the best way we can show and do that. You know,
by letting them make the choice to go to an intolerant place.
Yeah, by loving people that aren't able to love us, or being involved in a system that is trying to exclude us. You know, that other comment earlier said they have no gray area and you shouldn't either. So I think it's easy to think, oh, they're intolerant of us, so our response is going to be intolerant of you. But when you do that, I think you're committing the exact same crime, so to speak, and you're perpetuating the same root problem.
Yeah.
So if you really want to love someone, you got to start with the people that are the hardest to love.
And actually, tolerance is tolerating everyone, not certain people that are easy to tolerate. It's actually the ones that are the hardest to have tolerance for are the ones that show you how much tolerance you actually have.
Wait, are you saying everyone belongs? Plug.
This is from Janice. I would be worried that the kids will be treated like crap at the camp. Kind of surprised the camp would allow the kids to come because they are plenty old enough to maybe say something that the camp doesn't want other people to hear.
I'm actually concerned about that too.
The last part?
Yeah. I've told our kids, if you get kicked out of camp, we're not saving your ass.
Someone left a comment recently that they live really close to the camp.
Oh yeah, so they could bail them out.
You'd be like, oh. But as far as the first part, I don't really see that happening. The people that are the ones that booted our asses probably won't even be at the camp.
I'm not worried. I mean, our kids are like tough. They don't really take shit from hardly anyone that I can tell.
Yeah.
And there's 3 of them, and they have grandparents and a lot of other family. But really, at the end of the day, it's their choice. You know, I think they know that it could be a little weird, it could be awkward, and some people could be adversarial. Mm-hmm. But with that information, they're choosing to go.
We got 2 comments that are very similar. This first one's from Shell. This surprises me. When the park wouldn't let Rainier summit, you all stuck together and nobody went. In my family, either all are welcome or none are going. I kind of thought your family stuck together like that. And then from Home Birth Homeschool, whatever happened to never watch a TV show without the entire family so we don't grow apart? What if they grow away from you while away from you? You change your mind so fundamentally, so fast. That's true, but From the look on Eden's face from day one of the AT when you ditched her dog, I wondered about your relationship with her, but you sacrificed it for togetherness.
So this message is really near and dear to our hearts because it's obviously the title of our channel, Fight for Together. So I wanted to share about why I think this is different from the top of Mount Katahdin, which Shell is referring to when our family hiked all this way and we made it to the end. We all made the decision that we didn't want to go the last 2 miles without Rainier. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of art here. So this is what I want to show you guys. In family life, when everyone wants to go the same way, life is pretty simple. And a lot of
You guys want to go to ice cream? Yeah!
you guys want to
Except for we have a kid that's like, no, I don't want to ice cream.
Yeah, that's only recently. But when they were small, it was easy to push everyone in the same direction or to bribe people. But the question is, now that they're older and some people want to go this way and some people want to go this way, then what do you do? And this right here is the situation that we found ourselves in with this whole Bible camp thing. Is we wanted to stay in Kentucky because we're not allowed at this camp, but for whatever reason, with the relatives and the opportunity and the socialization, our kids still wanted to go. And this is a reality that we now have to deal with. And there's only so many ways I know how to deal with this. One is to try and change their minds and to try and get them to come back in line and want the same thing we want. So we could do this by trying to impose our morality on them and saying, oh, you should do this, or trying to impose our pain. Hey, we were excluded, so you were excluded too. But that would really be putting our pain on them. And I think that's some of the language I hear is everyone saying, oh, it's all or nothing, you are them, they are you. But they have their own wills. So in a way, by doing those things and trying to pressure them to stay with us, I think what we're doing is we're drawing a little circle around here and saying, this is together right here. You need to join us over here. Now the problem I have with this is no different from what the Bible camp is trying to do with us. They're trying to say, hey, everyone in this circle, even though your actions don't impact us, because there's nothing we were actually doing that impacted them, they were saying, just what you believe, you have to believe the same things we do. You have to be the same way we are. And I think it's actually somewhat manipulative and controlling. And these were the tactics that they used, the Bible camp used, to exclude us. So there's another thing we could do, which is kind of our strategy now, which is to draw the circle bigger and to say, hey, we know that you're making a different choice right now than the choice we're making. But we believe that if we give you the freedom to make the choice that you want, in the long run, it's going to have the most potential for us to actually be together in the future. And that's what we care about more than just getting our way for this summer. I want our kids to know that they can be themselves around us, that they don't have to hide from us, that they don't have to worry about us trying to control and manipulate them to be like us in order to be close to us. And here's the thing, to draw a bigger circle like this, it can't just be lip service. I think this needs to come from a power source that is actually a deeper and more secure and stronger love than the type of love we've been getting from the Bible camp. So we wanted to end off by reading a couple comments that I think really show what this looks like in other scenarios.
This is from Dean. I actually appreciate the fact you are letting your older ones choose to go. I am in a situation where I no longer choose to be around a certain family member. I let my older child make the decision for herself if she still wants to be around this person. I think in time she will form her own decisions about the matter. And then from Vegan Chick, wow, I'm not a Christian nor a parent, but I have to say the reasoning behind letting your kids go to camp if they choose was really powerful. At first I thought there would be no way I would let my kids go to a place that rejected me, but after hearing how you tied it back into your year of no rules and that you don't feel threatened by the perspectives of the camp, I agree with your choice. I think it can be hard to let people do things you don't agree with, But I think they will remember how the both of you felt confident letting them make their own choices even when it's hard. As a young adult, that's one of the things that I value the most from my parents looking back at my childhood.
We got a package here.
This is from Lisa E, who has been watching our vlogs for a long time. She says, Crawford family, I wanted to give you each a little something to do. I know it doesn't make up for camp, but I hope these things bring you a little joy. Have fun soaking each other. Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
So just in case you guys thought that we're gonna be sitting around here feeling sorry for ourselves, you are wrong. This has been hard, but this has been good. I just get so excited about this. This, even though in a way you could say Baxter State Park took the trip from our family, they didn't really. I think we had something bigger that they can't take away. And in the same way, you could say, oh, Bible camp took something away from your family this summer. Yeah, maybe, but they're not gonna win. They can't take away love and beat love. Love is so much bigger than that. And they can't control whether or not we include or exclude them. We get to decide that. So, a few things I wanna let you guys know about. One, someone donated $500 to us and it's confirmed legit. I don't know who this person is. I don't know where they came from. I've tried to contact them and I can't. And they said it's for us to make waffles, which is what we're gonna make up at camp. It's gonna be on Saturday, August 17th, and there's a Facebook event. I think people will have access to it below. I don't know how much space we have room for. I think we're gonna try and, at camp we made them for 150 to 200 people, so I don't want to turn people away. So if you're in the area, check it out. You're invited. And finally, this right here is one of the things we're the most excited to talk about. This type of love and where that comes from. The way that we're doing this is we're talking about that kind of stuff on our new account called Everyone Belongs. So if you go over there right now, there is a video that talks about our thoughts on the Bible Camp's decision, where we talk about it from a spiritual perspective and what we agree with and what we actually disagree with. So if you want to check that out, that link is below. I hope you subscribe to that channel. It's called Everyone Belongs. And there's also an Instagram account that has the exact same name where you can find these types of thoughts and ideas.
Well, this was a longer vlog, but we appreciate you guys listening and following along with our story.